Okay, this is the old blue handle one. And parts that we have here. Let's see if we have all the parts required. Now, by this time, I will have shown you earlier in the video to make sure that you keep all the right screws in the right places, because these screws are not interchangeable. Let's see if this set of 3 are the ones that I need to go into this assembly. No, that screw does not fit that. If you screw those in and they're tight like that, that is not the one that goes in there. They should screw in all the way easily. Okay, and I think I've got 3 of these. These are case screws, and they will not fit into the bridge assembly. There we go. Okay, those 3 do not belong with the case assembly. Let's try these 3. See if these are the right ones. Okay, yeah, I've got the bridge screws over here. They're on this side over here. The case screws are on the other side. You got to keep those separate. Do not get them mixed up. All right. This here. And I'm going to go clean all these parts, which I haven't done prior. And I'll be back in just a minute with all these parts cleaned up. Well, before we do that, before we go to clean up, let's go ahead and take this stack apart and let you see it. Okay. This is our... Oh, I'm going to take this screw out. And remember, keep that one separate too, because it may be a different thread from the rest of them. Take that screw out. And if you're not really ready to put it all back together, just stick that screw in there for now. Because they all look alike to my eye, but they are not the same. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, pop that off. Here's our drag stack. All right, that comes off. There's been a lot of oil applied to this reel over the years. So much so that you can't hardly see the parts. Okay, there is a drag washer at the bottom right here. Right there. Okay. You'll take that all apart, you'll clean it. Okay, now this piece here comes off. There's a drag washer there. It's not a drag washer, it is a, and there is, all right, so this one only has a drag washer. And it seems inappropriate, doesn't it? Okay, we can take this one off of there. That's a copper washer. All right, we're going to clean all these up. When we come back, we'll go about doing the install. We're back now with the parts clean, or reasonably clean, and we're ready to start putting this thing back together. So we're going to start off with this piece that did not seem to work on the other one. What I did find in taking this one apart is, no, it did not have a washer under this head. What it did have, though, is it had the washer under this side. So I will be going back and trying that other one with the washer in the correct location and see if that doesn't pull things through and make it start working. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and start with this one. We're going to start off by putting the plate in place. And let's go ahead and move our anti-reverse around to where it belongs. And spin this spring around. It's kind of gotten jostled out of place because I was cleaning. There we go. All right, now we're going to put that spring in that hook, in that hole right there, which I believe is where it belonged all along, but it wasn't there before. And we're going to stretch this over and get it into there like so. All right. With that in place, now we're going to try to bring this around and put this cam lobe in. Okay, we're going to set the cam lobe down in there. And first off, you got to get it going the right direction. Take the screw out. Okay. And this hook, the spring on this thing should end up being kind of over in this direction, over in this corner when you go to put this back together. It should be kind of over into this corner over here. All right, so let's go ahead and see if we can get that into the hole. There we go, like so. We're going to hold that in place, go to the other side now, put on the washer, and then this is the piece we got to line up, and you got a 50-50 chance at getting it right. And with this in the, let's see, this is going to be in unlock mode over here. So that's going to be this way, and it's going to go back that way. So we're going to try to get this on like so, and that's going to be going the right direction. That is correct. Okay, so let's put the washer back on. Now, am I absolutely 100% positive that these washers belong here? No, I'm not. I believe that both of these reels actually came from the same person. So the same person could have performed the same modification to both reels. But it was working with the washer in there. So we're going to go ahead and put it back in there. Okay, the cam lobe is not getting down in there where it belongs yet. I don't really want to have to take it off from the other end to get it in there if I can help it. But I will if I have to. Let's lift this up so it'll take this tension off of the spring. There we go. Cam lobe drops down in the hole. Tighten down the screw. All right. Oh, and my spring just fell off. All right. Let's hook it back on now. If this happens to you, make sure that you get the spring on properly, because there's a right way and a wrong way. First off, both ends have to be in the right direction. But if you put this on upside down, it's going to cause this spring to stick way up in the air, and it won't go in properly. All right, so we got that there. We're going to flip this up, and hopefully that's going to allow us to get our block in place. Here's the spring block. I'll set that back in the hole, like so, and see if we can get the screw started. And the spring fell off again. But that's okay, it really wasn't the time to put it back in anyway. All right, that goes there. Okay, now this should lever, and it does. See how the lever moves up? And the other one, it won't do that. Not quite that far. Okay, now let's get the spring reinstalled, and it's going to hook from the outside in like so. And then, I'll tell you what, I tried everything hooking on to the end of these to get them to go in, and was very unsuccessful with all of that. So what I ended up doing was this little maneuver you see right here, taking my screwdriver and wedging it down in between the springs, like so, and then using that to pull the spring over. Come on. It worked so well on the other one. You got to be in the, I think you really would need to be in the first two. Let's try it with a knife blade. It's a little finer. Okay. Can you see what's going on? I've got the knife blade slung in there. I just bring it over and hook it in. There you go. Like so. Now you're spring loaded. If you had this spring loaded on from the other side with that loop at the top, it would not go down there on that. It would just keep popping off. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and oil this at all the pivot points to prevent it from wearing out. Now, will oil always keep it from wearing out? No, the other one was really, really well worn, well oiled, but it still wasn't getting it. There was a lot of dirt was trapped in there. So periodically, these things have to be kind of taken apart and cleaned. Okay, that's got that. Now, let's go ahead and build up our bridge. First off, there is a cracked drag washer here. See here? So I'm going to cannibalize one out of the other one so that we have a good drag washer. All right, let's begin our rebuild process. We're going to start off with this sleeve. Okay, onto this sleeve is going to go drag washer. This what's called eared washer, because it's got these two little ears that stick off of it, and then another drag washer on top of that. All right, on top of that is going to be this clicker. This is for your anti-reverse, and it's going to slide down on here. It's got a keyway. See this flat part? Okay, that has to go onto the flat of the sleeve, like so, and your teeth have to face in this direction, facing counterclockwise. On top of that, we'll go this one spring washer right here. That goes there. Now, all of this is going to sit down first, the main gear. Let's take this screw out. I put it on here so we didn't get it confused with the rest. Put the gear down in there, and this assembly fits down. Now, these two ears on that washer, see there? That one there and that one there. They have to go into these two slots on the main gear right here. All right, so slide those around and slide it down and get those to drop in like so. And this part is ready to go back on. And to hold all of it together, let's go ahead and put the screw back on. Now, will these parts slide up and off of here? Yeah, they will. But this will hold the sleeve onto there, so onto the bridge. All right, that part's there. Now we're up to the part where it would fail on the other reel. And what we're going to do now is we'll go ahead and grease our main gear. There's ever so slight amount of grease on each of those drag washers, but if you oil this thing down through this center shaft, this is all going to end up with a lot of oil on it, so it's going to be fine. All right, now you got to line up your 3 holes in your case here with the 3 holes on your bridge. Slide your bridge in. Don't turn it upside down because the parts will fall off. Okay, with that lined up, now we're ready to put these 3 screws back in. Let's see, I think those are the ones that don't go in the bridge. These are the ones that do go in the bridge. If they don't screw down, you've got the wrong ones. If you have assembled all of this correctly, what's going to happen now is when you're in this position, you've got your anti-reverse and you got your click going. When you flip the lever the other way, it turns the anti-reverse off and it free spools, which the other one will not do that. Okay, there we go. Built up to that point. All right, the next thing we're going to want to do is put this side plate back on. Kind of go on here like so. And this is where these other 3 screws will go. The ones that look like they would go on the bridge, but they don't. Now don't screw them all the way in yet. You only want them part way, because what you need to do is you have this piece here, which is your lock for your worm gear, and it goes in. You'll see it's got a keyway, and the keyway has to drop into its notch right there like so. Okay, and then you have this piece, and this one turned out to be pretty corroded. So what we're going to do is I'm going to swap it out with the other one. See which one's in better shape. And they're both about the same. So we'll go ahead and stick with this one. All right, now this piece has got to go in here, and it's got these little trim tabs on the end right here. This one's bent, as you can see. Somebody didn't align it properly when they put it in last, so it was only being held by 3 of the posts. Okay. And we'll set this back in here, and the long side's going to go in the back, and you've got to line these up and get those little posts to drop into these holes right here. And if you've got the screws in too far, you might not be able to get it to go yet. There we go, that's one side. Tell you what, let's do. Let's go ahead, since this piece wants to keep slipping out, let's go ahead and lock it in to its location, and we'll put the end cap back on it. So that it will stay in place, like so. All right, now let's try putting this back on. All right, in the world of reel repair, putting this little plate in is probably my least favorite thing to do of all. And something is not lining up properly. Yep, this fell. That's why. I really hate putting these in. All right, that was a pain in the tail. I hate lining those things up. All right, we're now going to oil our clicker over here. See how dry looking it is right now? This has been sprayed down really good with WD-40, but see, the WD-40 just tends to dry up and disappear. So always make sure to oil. And there's a lot of rust had gotten onto this spring, so we're gonna oil it good to help reduce the corrosion that can get it back on it. And I actually had to take a hammer. This clicker was jammed, and I actually had to take a screwdriver and wedge it up here against it and tap it a few times to get it to break loose so that it was free again and would actually operate. So we've got that freed up. Let's go ahead at this point and let's assemble the rest of the line guide. Oh, we were missing a post. Oh man, after all of that, and this post is not in. Don't believe it'll go in without it. Nope. Have you ever just wanted to stop and cry? Oh, there it goes. How did they get it in? All right. All right. Now, I believe we are ready to start putting in our worm gear. We're going to start off by setting, first off, let's go ahead and put some oil inside this carrier. And then we're going to slip the carrier right down into here like so and get it into that notch up there. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, I don't believe it'll fit through here, so we're going to have to take this one back off of this side that I tightened down so well. Okay, and we will slide the worm gear back inside like so. And then we're going to put a dab of oil down into the worm gear here. Put a little bit here on the post that it's going to ride on. And slide that back in. And screw it down. Like so. Okay. With that done, make sure that we have this in its carrier position. And we can go ahead and slip the gear back on this side, and that'll help hold it in place so that the carrier won't slide down and drop out of that notch anymore. And at this point, we're ready to take our pawl, which apparently I haven't cleaned this one yet. There we go. Okay, I'm going to give it a drop of oil. And we're going to drop it down into the carrier. Like so. And once it drops in good, it will ride like so. Okay. Now we're going to install this keeper, which slips on over top of the pawl and lines up with the hole like so. And then we've got a tiny little screw that goes in. That's going to hold that in place. All right, it's got that in. Now we should be able to rotate the gear, and the line feed should easily travel back and forth. It will not hurt to add some oil to this top runner up here. Help keep it from binding up. Now we're going to take our spool, which remember it was cleaned up as best we could, and we're going to drop it back down inside here, like so. And if the clicker is engaged, it should click. And it does. Let's disengage it. And see what we got left. We don't have a whole lot left to put together, folks. We're getting close. All right. I'm going to line this up. Your handle's going to be near the bottom, or closer to the bottom. And we've got these two keeper screws here, and they're going to go on this screw post and this screw post right here. I'll line this up like so. Get the post to fit on. And sometimes you have to lift these up to get them to fit down on the screws that they belong on. There we go. The two posts are lined up, so now the screws should line up. Okay. All right, now this sleeve is going to go on. And the sleeve's perfectly round, so it just slips in like so. But then this keyed washer is going to go on, and it has to fit in that key position right there. And then over the top of that will go our star adjuster. Okay, and we set our handle in place. We can use that to help tighten that drag. Okay. Put the nut on. There's your anti-reverse on, which these things got to have the noisiest, ugliest anti-reverse I've ever seen. And there we go. Let's see if the drag works. Drag does. Let's see if we can tighten it down a little bit. Yep, drag's good. Let's hear the clicker. Wow, that's an ugly sounding anti-reverse. Okay, let's go ahead and tighten down the nut the rest of the way. There we go. And let's go ahead and shoot a drop of oil in the end, because that's how you serve it. And there you have the Shakespeare Service reel. I really don't like the anti-reverse on these. That is the noisiest, chunkiest thing I've ever heard. Tell you what I'm going to do, just to see. I'm going to go back and I'm going to add grease to that anti-reverse. All right, they're back together and functional. This one is a shelf sitter. I don't like it. It's basically a parts reel is what it comes down to. This one is actually functional and can go out and go fishing again. I don't like it when you put the anti-reverse on. I don't like the feel of the anti-reverse. It's just, it shouldn't, I don't mind them making a lot of noise, but they shouldn't actually affect how it winds. See? And anyway, there you have it, folks. The Shakespeare Service reel. I've never had reels give me the kind of trouble that these two have given me. This one obviously is cracked through here. The anti-reverse does not completely let go, although it seems to have done so at the moment. Yeah, it's just barely catching now. And I'm not crazy about that one. I'm really surprised. I thought these were going to be two of my favorite reels to do, and turns out I'm not real crazy about them. I've done a lot of Shakespeare's, and I liked a lot of Shakespeare's, but I'm not happy with these two service reels. Somebody at some time in the past, I think, painted these knobs, or that came that way. I think since this is the one that's going to go out as serviceable, I think I'm probably going to swap the handles, put that one over here. Matter of fact, I'll do that right this second. We'll go ahead and put a shot of oil down each of the handles just to help keep them moving free like they are. And there you have one serviceable Shakespeare Service reel, model 1944. Actually, it's a model GE. It's a 1944 reel. I don't believe it was made in 1944. And it is made in the U.S. It's a nice little reel, but I've never had this much trouble out of any reel ever. And so actually I take that back. I've got a M-cast reel that belongs to Chris Jenkins that I've got to play with. It's a problem also, and I do have a 2-speed Shimano reel that has been giving me trouble. But for the most part, most reels aren't that difficult. This reel isn't so difficult. It's just that anti-reverse in there and the condition of the reels. If these reels were in really good condition to begin with, they wouldn't have given me any real trouble. It's just when you don't take care of things and you let them get all corroded, they get very difficult to try to clean up and make better. So hope you liked the video. If you do, hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. For now, that's Rick Stivers, the YoungMartin'sReels, signing out.